Welcome to this last session of the first part of the ABLE Annual Meeting 2023. We thought we'll do a bit of reflective practice ourselves, seeing that we are in ePortfolios or portfolios in general. And so we've already had 2 wonderful days with presentations, workshops, and conversations with people. And this morning, also at least morning Pacific time, a networking session where hopefully lots of people brought in their extended family, pets, and other things to see what have you learned over the last 2 days. Where have you maybe changed your mind on what would you like to explore more? And for that reason, I'd like to hand over to Tracy, who had prepared something beforehand, namely yesterday, to get us all started.
Thanks so much, Christina. Well, yesterday we started off the conference with a session where we asked people to let us know what they were hoping to learn at this year's conference. And as you know, this is the close of our online portion of the conference, but for many of us, we'll continue in person next week at KPU. But for those of you who are not going to be joining us in person, we do want to hear a little bit about what you learned and what you're still hoping to learn. So Christina's put the link to the Jamboard in the chat, and you'll see on the first page is the opening, what do you want to learn at the ABLE conference? And the second page, the second Jamboard that's attached to that one says, what did you learn? What do you still need? So I'm going to give you just a couple of minutes of silent reflection time to go ahead and join that second board in the Jamboard and let us know what you learned and what you still need, and then we'll have a chat about it. So just going ahead and sharing the Jamboard on the screen so you all can see, and please keep those comments coming in. So I'll just go ahead and read some of them. So the prompts, what did you learn? What do you still need? Was really excited to see instructional ePortfolios and of course student panels. We always learn so much from the student perspective. And there's another comment in the chat or here on the board that speaks to the student panel and how, you know, the notion of students as partners is such a powerful way to approach ePortfolio work. So that's a nice outcome. If we're new to ePortfolio, we can build out from course project to a larger scale. Absolutely. Oh, an interesting one. I'm not the only portfolio professional who's had a change in roles, duties. Yeah, I think that happens not infrequently. And so it's figuring out what's, you know, what do you do in your new role? How can you still be a champion, but also enable others to pick up the great work that's happened already. Portfolio practice in Pocket seems to be going well. Looking at the results from the mapping survey though, how to expand and make it more important to receive funding. Yeah, it's such an interesting contextual challenge, and I think often connected to our own institutional cultures and figuring out who are the stakeholders that we need to engage on our campuses to really build that robust approach to portfolios so that we can make the case for funding. And I also would encourage folks to think about, you know, maybe diverse funding agencies. So in Canada, we often think in terms of research. So the Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council, or there's a National Sciences Council as well. And there are other kinds of funding. So maybe your campus has just, you know, sort of small pockets of funding that you could apply for. There might be an opportunity to partner with some others. So for instance, our Batson lecturer yesterday is in Australia, but has a SSHRC, or Social Sciences and Humanities Research Council grant in Canada. So there might be opportunities to look for funding at organizations that maybe are not the standard go-to. And I know in the United States anyway, the Spencer Foundation is a great place for education funding, among others like the Teagle Foundation, Lumina Foundation, et cetera. So kind of watch for calls for funding proposals and just sort of see where your project might fit. Who at an institution needs to hear about portfolios to take them further? Again, that is really related to your campus culture and figuring out who are the stakeholders that will be most meaningful and valuable for you to have on side so that you can be successful. I wish there was a way to stay plugged into this community informally throughout the year, Slack, Google Groups, etc. There's so much knowledge and experience. Ooh, that's a great suggestion and feedback. I'm looking at Christina on my screen because she's our guru on all things technology and connectivity. So we'll definitely take that comment back and be thinking about how we can engage with you all. We've talked for a long time about having a listserv. We do have a MailChimp mail out. As Christina mentioned, we do a newsletter that comes out about once a month. And we have events that happen throughout the year, but of course, those are more formal. So we can, and if you have ideas about informal channels, you've given us some suggestions there, please let us know because we'd love to make that happen for you. Someone else says, I'd love to hear strategies for how to reinvigorate a campus e-portfolio initiative. That's a tricky question, right? How do you kind of keep people excited about this? And I think bringing colleagues to an event like this one, the AAC&U Institute on e-portfolios can be a good way to do that. And also perhaps connecting with other campuses who are doing similar work so you can kind of reinvigorate each other. We know that e-portfolios are a social pedagogy, and so the more we can collaborate with one another, the better, I think. You're not going to be sad by what's coming for the in-person portion. We've got lots of great sessions coming up next week, and also some fun activities that, well, at least things that I think sound fun, but I hope others will sound fun. So yeah, looking forward to seeing you in person. The emphasis on design justice will give my campus much to talk about from Dr. Coleman. What exactly are we asking students to present in their portfolios? Yeah, that's some important food for thought for sure. And yeah, e-portfolios are definitely flourishing on a lot of campuses. I see that the chat is active, so just kind of trying to watch. And I think Christina is busy posting links and ways to stay connected in the chat. Happy to have any of you unmute and share any reflections, with your voice as well. If you want to ask a question or share, please feel free to unmute.
Tracy, where are the recordings going to be available?
Great question, Jillian. You know what? I could even tell, can't even see the screen, but I know it's you. I love that I know that it's you.
Yay.
Able has a YouTube channel, so we'll post all the recordings on that channel, and we'll be sending out a message to everybody who attended the conference, so you have a link to all of the things, including past conferences, etc. And I knew Christina was momentarily going to post it, and you'll see the link to the YouTube channel there in the chat, so you can go ahead and start diving into previous content, and shortly we'll have the recordings and transcripts available for you as well.
Yeah, because I think the student panels are probably one of the best ways to reinvigorate e-portfolios on campus. I know that's what usually gets me super jazzed. So yeah, because you see the end result, you see the power of all that.
Absolutely, which sort of makes me think that we need to have those regular student events on our campuses too, right? So that we can connect in with them, hear how it's going, get to learn from them and their excitement for their portfolios. So yeah, I agree. Students are always have so much insight to share.
To the earlier point of where can people participate? I mean, one possibility is definitely also the Digital Ethics Task Force that will enter its 15th year. Not 15th, sorry, it's 5th year. we haven't been around that long because the annual meeting in the Bronx wasn't that long ago. So yeah, it's 5th year, and we typically meet once a month, and we actually had 3 working groups the year that just finished. So you could actually meet people 3 times a month. So lots of possibilities to get involved around all things digital ethics and portfolios, which of course is a huge area. And so we then, as part of the working groups, one is looking at research. So the mapping survey that Morgan, Sarah, and Megan talked about today, just an hour or so ago, and also what we talked about in the 2020. And we also have a survey that has just started here in Aotearoa, New Zealand and Australia, but it doesn't mean that colleagues in other regions can't participate. It's just a kind of ethics approval thing, the normal thing at the institution, so anybody can participate. We are organizing webinars or workshops and look into being in other areas as well. We've also been on a couple of podcasts to further the idea and bring the idea of digital ethics to other communities, have them also think about portfolios. So that's definitely a wonderful group to be a part of. I see Kevin came on board and he just came back to the session. So he's also a member and actually our ABLE board liaison, so that the ABLE board knows that what we are doing in the task force is aligned with what ABLE wants to do. And so really a good way of getting involved in portfolios on a regular basis outside of your campus, and also furthering the ideas and goals and mission and vision of ABLE.
Yeah, and I'll just add, thanks for that, Christina, that ABLE really is a kind of community-focused organization. So it's not that the people that you've been seeing on the screen, kind of the program committee folks, are the only ones who get to be involved. We're always looking for other volunteers. So if the Digital Ethics Task Force isn't the area that you'd like to join and start working with us, then please do reach out and let us know how you'd like to be involved, and we definitely will speak to you about different opportunities. I can share that an idea that came out of an earlier session today about a repository of reflective prompts and activities is one that we've heard a couple times before at previous conferences. So I've actually taken action, and I'm hoping to have some announcement out in the next couple of months about ways that you could contribute your reflective activities or even participate in kind of editing the things that do come in, and that could be a potential publication for you. We also have the ABLE ePortfolio Review, which is our online magazine, where if you're wanting to write a little bit about portfolios, the works that's happening on your campus, it's a great place to share works in progress. So maybe stuff that is less formally research oriented, but that is really great practice that you'd like to share with others. So there's regular calls out for editions of AEPR, and there will be a call after this conference. So usually we have an issue that kind of picks up themes from each year's annual meeting. And there's also the International Journal of ePortfolio, or IJEP, and that journal publishes all kinds of research and sort of scholarship of teaching and learning and thoughts on ePortfolios. So those are a couple of publication venues should you be looking for a way to publish your ePortfolio work. And as always, Kevin is encouraging that we need an ABLE reflection pool. So he's our resident funny quipper and guru of puns. So if you're looking for just a little bit of lightheartedness in your day, definitely make a personal connection with Kevin Kelly, because he will never let you down. And Kevin is going to be our keynote at the ABLE in-person portion. So we're really looking forward to that.
It will be an hour-long distribution of puns, I'm sure.
I was gonna say an hour-long pun fest. Any other questions, comments, needs? What can we do to meet your needs? That's something we're really keen on here.
We've had a number of different session formats already in the online part, and how did those work out for you? Because of course, every conference is also a bit of experimenting. What do we do? And this year, with having the opportunity to be in person again, what we wanted to do really in the in-person sessions to privilege that people can talk to each other in person, and not having to watch a screen, and therefore moved a lot of the workshop sessions into in person to make that possible to use the physical space. And so in the online sessions now, we had a couple of workshops and then also presentations and giving people the opportunity to talk in the chat or take the microphone. So I'm just wondering how that has worked out so far. But maybe it's getting a little late, especially for those on the East Coast.
Maybe.
If I look at the number of participants in the earlier sessions when I was still bleary-eyed, and now that is quite a difference. So yeah, something also to ponder as organizing committee.
One thing I did see in the Jamboard for the closing thoughts is that people really appreciated the student perspective. So the student panel was really strong, as well as the Batson lecture.
Well, I know that some of you have to jet off for things that are planned for the rest of your day, and we definitely don't want to hold you hostage here if you've got other things that I'm sure you do to do with your day. I just want to take a minute to thank you so much for being here in this online portion of our conference. We are really looking forward to staying connected with you. So please don't hesitate to reach out if you have questions or thoughts or ideas for us. We definitely want to hear what you have to say. And we're always looking to improve our offerings. We'll also send out a brief survey for you to give us some more feedback about how these 2 days worked for you. And please do watch out for our newsletter that, as Christina mentioned, comes out about once per month. We now have all your emails, so you'll have an opportunity to subscribe to the newsletter if you choose to do so. And we hope to stay connected with you. I do want to just take a moment as well to thank so much our sponsors for this year, all of our events at Able, PebblePad, and Dream. And for those who are going to be in person, you'll have a little bit more of an opportunity to hear from those perspectives as well. So we're really looking forward to that. Thank you so much. These conferences are really only made wonderful by all of you, your participation, your questions, and all of your great input. So we thank you so much and look forward to seeing you at one of our events sometime soon. Bye for now.